soon as I went live, the sun came out. It's very bright. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. This morning we're doing a self-compassion meditation, and I'm going to give myself a few minutes here to kind of settle in. So if you're watching this live, hello, and if you're watching the replay, okay, I'm back. All right, so as I was saying, self-compassion is a really important practice to come back to on a regular basis. And the reason that is because I think part of having a solid mindset toward achieving life and dealing with adversities and challenges, both internal and external, in order to deal with both internal challenges, external challenges, setbacks, all these things, self-compassion, I think, is a really important part of that process. Now, I might change my angle here because the sun just came out as I started going live. So, this morning I'm going to read through the self-compassion meditation I have prepared for the morning. And so if you're here for that, find yourself a comfortable place to sit or lie down. And once you're sitting, once you're lying down, in about a minute, I'll start this guided meditation. Self-compassion has many benefits. So it's not just, being nice to yourself, being kind to yourself, but also as we begin to do that, what can happen is it actually can improve our physical health, our mental health, how we sleep. It can make us more willing to try things and overcome obstacles and challenges, because we know that even if we make mistakes or have setbacks or challenges, that we're learning to be kinder to ourselves, because oftentimes the real pain or struggle that comes from facing a hard truth, having a challenge, a setback, is dealing with the challenge or setback is that we're going to be kind to ourselves as we go through it. Good morning, Lori. How are you doing? Right now I'm doing a self-compassion meditation, and you're free to join with that. However, I can go live later this afternoon. I can definitely do a Q&A and answer some questions. And it might be raining, which is, I usually do these inside, but I tried to do it outside today, and we'll see how this goes. No guarantees. Okay. So, many of us have a tendency toward perfectionism. Even in meditation, we try to get it right. We might be hard on ourselves for not having the experience or reaching the outcome that we think we should be having. Same thing with Qigong. Something to remember when it comes to meditation is this: far more important than outcome is our intention. Having the intention to be present with what is and with what we are experiencing in this moment is how we unlock the ease to be discovered in meditation. We will always get distracted. Super normal. We will always have days when it's much harder to not fall asleep. I'm going to move locations. We're moving. Started raining and hailing. That's not what I expected. Okay, so We're always going to get distracted when we're meditating. We will always have days when it's much harder to not fall asleep, and we will also have days when it's very difficult to be kind to ourselves. That's why intention is so important in self-compassion meditation. Even when self-kindness does not come naturally or easily, our intention provides its foundation. This practice can be used on its own or okay, so if you can, sit upright with a long back. So find a comfortable place. You know, we oftentimes see people meditating in like on a but you can actually meditate in a chair, on the couch, anywhere where you can sit comfortably with your back straight. Or you can lie down on the floor. If it feels right, I'll welcome you to close your eyes during this meditation. So let's take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose and allow your body to release as you exhale through your mouth. So inhale through your nose. Exhale. Let's do it again. And this time, let's see if as you do it, you can breathe into your heart, into your belly, into your legs. And as you exhale, just relax and let go of tension. Now gently place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. Like this. And imagine, what would it feel like right now if I were to hold myself with a little compassion? Notice your body's response. There is no right way of experiencing this. Just explore what it's like to open up a little bit more to self-compassion. And then explore, what would it feel like in your body to receive kindness right now? What would receiving compassion sound like? You might tune into a word or phrase that feels compassionate and kind to you. If nothing is arising just yet, or if self-compassion feels difficult to access, that's okay. This is just warming up to the idea. To strengthen your attention for being here, you might repeat the following phrases silently or out loud. May I be kind to myself. May I be gentle with myself. May I be at ease with myself. May I be compassionate to myself. And then, still with your hands on your heart and your belly, consider, what would the experience of compassion feel like as a sensation? Would it be to experience warmth, a softening, a stroking of your cheek, a hug from a loved one or spiritual guide? See if you can allow your body to explore the physical experience of compassion and what it would feel like to receive this care. If you like, you can experiment with these sensations yourself. You can try wrapping your arms around your body and giving yourself a hug. You can stroke your cheek, your arm, or your feet. Or you might imagine kindness flowing in every breath you take. So for the next minute or two, just dip one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Just breathe and allow yourself to explore what the sensations of self-compassion would feel like. A softness, a warmth. All right. So I invite you to notice if there's been an opening with you, with your self-compassion today, however small or large that might be happening. If it doesn't feel like you've made much progress toward a sense of self-compassion, that's okay. This can be a very challenging mental exercise for some of us, especially those who have had experienced trauma early in life or throughout our lives. But in any case, just be here. You've planted the intention of self-compassion in your mind and your heart. The more you come back to this intention, the more you will notice changes arising in your ability to harness self-compassion when you need it. For now, take a few clearing breaths. So inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We'll do 2 more. Inhale through the nose and exhale, let go. One more time. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. So thank yourself for taking time for this short, intentional practice. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And you can come back to this type of practice anytime that you want. In the future, I'll make more well-edited versions of these self-compassion meditations or the various different types of meditation. We'll be doing more here on the channel. So thanks so much for joining me with this live stream. It was a little messy. As soon as I started filming, a rain, hail storm came from the sky. So I had to sort of relocate. But hey, it happens. And I think that's part of the use of these self-compassion meditations and learning presence and learning how to relax and breathe through the challenges that life brings us. Because life will always be throwing challenges at us, right? Whether that's things from our own decision-making and operating system and shortcomings, or if it's from external challenges, things that are unexpected, or life challenges, or things outside of our control. And self-compassion is not the same thing as self-centeredness or narcissism. Sometimes we think that if we start building more self-love or self-compassion, that we're going to become narcissists or something like this. And that's really not the case. It's more that actually the more we can love ourselves and develop self-compassion for ourselves, we can actually allow ourselves to be more interested in caring for those around us. It's easy to not want to connect with other people when we don't have a great relationship with ourselves. And from my spiritual development and my own process personally, I've come to discover that at the heart of our minds and our bodies, luckily, because the universe is a pretty interesting place, but at the core of our consciousness, our mind, and our body is love, which should be obvious, but it hasn't been for many humans for a long time, it seems, especially in the West. We have gotten very disconnected through materialism and science and these sorts of things. So these types of practices are fundamental and very useful for living a high quality life, because when we can develop that warmth and that compassion for ourselves, like how valuable could that be in our lives, having the ability to soften the blow, to soften the challenges, to live life blissfully and more joyfully, even when we're faced with challenges like this morning when I'm trying to film and there's this sort of hail, rainstorm, and the wind's blowing. It wasn't quite what I expected, but that's okay. We're always learning, we're always growing, and I think practices like meditation and Qigong that we do here on Effortless Qigong are just so powerful and useful for that. The reason that is because even if you look at just the science of meditation and breathing, we can lower our stress response, we can lower inflammation, When you meditate, it actually like changes how the brain functions. It increases neural connections and makes new pathways, and they've shown it can actually help improve like the frontal cortex and shrink the amygdala and these sorts of things. Increases telomere length. Anyway, there's lots of scientific and spiritual benefits from Qigong and meditation. And so one of the things I invite you to do is for the next couple of Saturdays, and I'll make sure there's no thunderstorm or rainstorms next time. We're going to keep coming back to these different sort of self-compassion meditations. And as I'm putting out the routines, right, you're practicing Qigong, I want you to also start to incorporate that intention of self-compassion into your movements, into your breathing, and into your Qigong practice. In Qigong, we're not just stretching, we're not just breathing or moving slowly, we're also setting an intention and we're visualizing as we do it. And so there's a practice that Montauk Chia teaches, and I have a short on it, and I'll be talking about this more in the future as well, which is the inner smile. So maybe we'll discuss that next time on the live. But essentially what the inner smile is, it's learning to smile into the body, smiling into the heart and the organs, smiling through the body. And the more we meditate and practice these skills, the easier this type of thing begins to develop. And if you've been watching me for a while, I really recommend the app called Balance. You can use it for 1 year for free. And this is a meditation app that is customizable to you, helps teach you the basics and the fundamentals of meditation. And one of the skills we start to work on later on in that app is it's feeling into the body and learning how to do inner smile. So that's really interesting, really nice. And so we have to take more time to be compassionate to ourselves. That can not just be an attention in our meditation, in our Qigong, but also how we go throughout our week. If we're in traffic, if we're at our job, if we're at home, if we're dealing with difficult things in the news, difficult challenges, a common question can be that we can ask ourselves more often is, how can I be more compassionate to myself right now? Is it taking a nap? Is it a hot bath? Is it going for a walk? Is it opening the window and letting some fresh air in? Is it cleaning up your room and your space? Is it cleaning the kitchen? Is it making a nice cup of tea? Or is it doing something more challenging like facing, looking at your finances or facing a hard truth? That can be self-compassion too. But the more that we take that time to do those things, I think it can really have an impactful benefit in our lives. Because the more self-compassionate we are on a regular basis, the more we can actually start to also work joyfully. Like, I think it's very common in our culture that we have this idea that if we're going to work, we should be stressed out or hard on ourselves or this sort of thing. But that doesn't have to be the case, actually. We can learn to work joyfully. And one of the things I learned myself is that when I'm happy, when I'm in a good mood, when I'm well slept, when I've done meditation, in my Qigong, and I'm eating healthy, all these self-compassionate things, taking care of myself, my brain works better, I function better, I have better decision, I'm able to deal with challenges in a more nuanced way. And I've learned to motivate myself through enjoying what I'm doing and this sort of thing. And I think as well, some of the highest quality life comes from a life. We do things like meditation, contemplation, Qigong. Um, Especially in the age where we are now, where we have so much access to information. Like, you can doom scroll on your phone. It's so easy to distract ourselves that when we take time to kind of disconnect from constant stimulation and just tune into the mind, the body, the heart, the sensations that we have, feeling into the comfort and the discomfort in our body, feeling into your hands and your wrists and your shoulder. And learning to soften and smile and kind of meet our bodies with more compassion. For example, like I'm 29, and like a lot of men my age, my hairline's starting to recede. And it's so easy to be like hard on myself, even though I can't control this, that I'm not as attractive as I once was. I'm getting older. And it definitely has a lot of value to me to learn to be more compassionate with things I can't control about my body as I'm aging and as things are changing. And I think the more we meditate as well, what can happen is we can stop being in resistance to what is actually the case. And notice how a balding head isn't actually good or bad. It just is what it is, right? So the more we meditate and breathe and tune in and are willing to kind of and we're aware of our self-judgments and try to be more compassionate with them and soften and just noting those thoughts, noting those sensations, and being more present with what is. We don't have to judge so harshly our body, our looks, shortcomings, challenges, setbacks. Kind of soften into them, accept them, be with them, be curious, be open. Because we exist right now. You're conscious, you're alive. And this experience could go on for, it depends how old you are, it could go on for 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. And so what we want to start to do is set as our core root of ourselves. That's why this meditation is so important, is that self-compassion should be the sort of bedrock, the root of everything else that we're doing in our lives. Taking care of ourselves, taking care of others, setting healthy boundaries, these sorts of things. That is, I think, what life really should be about. Learning to take care, of course, we probably all do this, but taking care of ourselves, I think that's sort of one of the purposes of life. Life is for learning. And yeah. So each week, on Saturday at least, I'll be doing one of these meditations. I'm still figuring out the format. And then, of course, there'll also be pre-recorded meditations going live on YouTube, but also on the Vimeo OTT. That way you can get more like of a high quality one. Of course, anything can happen with these lives. Like, I'm trying to do meditation and there's like a rainstorm that ends as soon as I get out of the rain. But anyway, yeah, and I think it's important to make things like meditation and qigong part of your regular practice in life. You can meditate for just 5 minutes. You can do qigong for just 5 minutes, and that can have an effect on how you feel. And so, Yeah. A cool exercise you can do too that I started to figure out was like, in the past I used to be so hard on myself. Right? I really wasn't that friendly to myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. Reject how reality actually is and want it to be like a different way. This is kind of a different sort of exercise, but have you ever noticed you kind of feel the back of your hand? Have you ever noticed that like your skin is soft? Like if you clap your hand, it sounds like people clap hands in music, it sounds good. It's kind of interesting. So even right there, like the universe is telling you, every day you can just feel the back of your hand, it's soft. Clap your hands, it sounds good. You walk outside, you can see the sky. It's beautiful. That there's so much potential for beauty and love in your life, even just to feel the back of your hand. Something as simple as that. And I think when I think about what is qigong, of course qigong is to become skillful with your life force energy, of course. And I think qigong is a lifelong practice. But part of the qigong practice is the aesthetic value that comes with it, right? Because having less stress, more energy it feels good, it's enjoyable. Let's say you're not someone who's ever done a lot of meditation and you're doing a self-compassion meditation. That first time that your heart starts to wake up and you feel the warmth flooding through your chest and down your arms and through your body, you start to realize, oh my gosh, my whole life I've been so focused on external things and ideas and concepts that no one ever told me I could actually smile into my own heart. I could cultivate my own self-love or self-warmth. When you realize that, I think that'll be a really exciting day. And so that's one of the things I look forward to on this channel as I continue to mature and grow as a teacher, because I really consider myself just beginning as a teacher, right? I've only been doing this for a few years. And I'm still learning how to do all the technology and making good content and stuff like this. It'll take time, but what else am I gonna do? So that's all for today. Yeah, sort of a messy live. Who knows, maybe I'll do another one this week on top of it. But every Saturday, we're doing a meditation here in the morning. Tomorrow will be the 5 Elements live session. People that tuned in last week really seemed to enjoy the live session. So on Sunday at 3 p.m. Atlantic Canada time, I go live. We do about 30 minutes practice, 10-minute meditation, and then a 15-minute Q&A. Okay? And so last thing I'll say is if you are someone who's getting into qigong and you find there's challenges, you want to do it more often than you're doing it, my advice is just relax, be more compassionate with yourself, take it easy, and know that qigong is something that's always going to be there for you. It's true, if you don't use the tools, you're not going to get the benefits from it, but also qigong has to kind of fit into our lives. And let qigong be an expression of self-love, not a task or a chore or something that you need to do. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.